things are about to get a little bumpy. Hey, it's full of tricks today.
Folgers for your brand? Muscle milk for strength?
Not a grill. Lovely sound.
Heck yeah. Wow.
Big difference.
Just smiling right back at us. But what for? No more work than
Yeah, brakes, steering, a whole bunch of work under the hood, nice facelift. I'd say we can probably drive this thing just about anywhere now.
Yeah, the best part is it still has plenty of future growth potential.
And speaking of that, it reminds me of another truck. Pretty big idea.
See what you're saying. What are you thinking?
Let's just say we're thinking much bigger picture.
It's hard to argue that the 4.9-liter inline-6 isn't one of the greatest engines ever made, especially when it comes to serviceability and durability. But, of course, it's only if you keep up on the maintenance.
Like Joel said, it is inarguable that the Ford 300 has a place among all the great truck engines that have ever been made, but only if you take care of it. Now, that's what we're going to be taking care of here right now is some problems that we have found under the hood, a couple of things that just come with routine maintenance, and a couple of things that were just known issues for these trucks.
So crusty.
I don't think these have been out for a while. We'll go ahead and take this winch controller out here, because I don't think it's rebounding out of the winch and doing a whole lot of good, especially out bad on the bumper, right? I really hope that nobody ever tried to use that.
I noticed it's only mounted with 2 bolts too, so I think the winch would probably rip off the bumper long before it pulls this thing out of a mud pit. Overall, looks like our plug wires are in pretty good shape, but since we're in this deep, might as well go ahead and swap them out as well.
Nobody throws stuff, that's my thing. My bad.
Did your signature move on you? Plugs are unfouled, the hands are corroding. Definitely been a minute since they've been changed.
It might not be a bad idea to replace this one.
I was looking at this, Eric. It'd be fun to pull this thing out of here and put it in like a 55 or 56 Ford F-100. Oh, yeah.
I think it might be kind of fun in a unibody, too.
But then what would we put in this?
I think I have a couple ideas.
Oh, God. Well, guys, we had ourselves another rust belt casualty in war, if you will. Basically, what happened was I went to go pop off the distributor cap. The little screws holding it on, they were actually so rusted out, the place broke in half. And then while trying to extract those screws, I ended up breaking the housing right off the distributor. So we went ahead and swapped out the entire distributor assembly altogether, which is not necessarily a bad thing since, we're already this far into it, right, buddy? Right. One thing we want to make note of before pulling your distributor is the position of your rotor. And in this case, it was sitting on the number 4 cylinder. So, of course, the distributor has to go back into that same position. If not, your firing order is just not going to be right. Your engine's going to fire radically. And for you guys at home that are taking notes, the firing order on one of these old inline 6s is 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. And if you do forget to check your rotor position before pulling the distributor, but what you can do is spin your engine over till it's at top dead center, and you set your rotor on the number 1 piston.
Now that we're moving on to reassembly, I've got all of our new belt drive components here at the car. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about why we're replacing all of this, starting with the alternator. These trucks were prone to overcharging issues, which could obviously cause a bunch of problems in the electrical system and burn out the plugs that go into the alternator itself. Now, this one's been replaced before, so it's probably had that remedy, but it wasn't charging fully when we pulled this truck in, which could be in part due to the fact that the battery was 7 years old and wouldn't really hold a charge anyways. But if you've got a bad battery, that's going to burn out your alternator even quicker. So we're replacing that just to be safe. Next, we've got our belt tension. It's always a good idea to replace this if you've got the opportunity, because the springs inside can wear out and lead to inefficiency in your belt drive and possible belt slippage. Plus, this one, I went ahead and took the pulley off just to check it out, and we have quite a bit of play in there, and that would be a problem not too far down the road. Next, we've got our power steering pump. This thing was making a ton of noise when we pulled this truck in here, and Fords of this era are just notorious for power steering pump issues anyways. This one, now that we've got the pulley off, it barely moves at all. Now, the new one spins nice and easy. That's what it's supposed to do. So, we're going to go ahead and get this stuff installed, and should quiet things down and get everything working quite a bit better. You know, all in all, could have been worse. I think we've had worse. I know I've definitely had worse experiences with 30-year-old Fords.
You know what I do like about Ford trucks?
What's that?
Is all the heritage involved with it. So it seems like whoever buys a Ford truck, he only did it because his daddy owned a Ford truck. His daddy owned a Ford truck. His daddy owned a Ford truck.
It just kind of runs on down the line. Too stubborn to admit that Chevy is better.
Coming up, we raise the race. Max Fresh is old Ford. Whatever that means. She's smiling right back at us.
The root of every argument is one of three things: closeness, ideal, rejected, power,
You need to meet me in the middle with this intensity.
or respect. I'd like to sleep with a bunch of women.
Did I just hear that right? I am questioning whether we should be together.
It's like a real life Telenovela. You never know what could happen.
There is potential for love.
Would you like to end your marriage? Tonight.
Double down. With 6 crystal geysers. Double down. With 6 crystal geysers. Down source cave. Folgers and muscle milk. Folgers for the brain.
Up to this point, we have done a ton of work under the hood and underneath this 94 F-150, vehicle possible maintenance and fixing some stuff we found along the way. But now that it's ready to get back on the road, running right, you gotta make it look good with quick, easy.
Muscle milk for strength.
That's right. It doesn't do that. It's fine. I think it's starting to look at that. Looks like they sprayed on a little bit of a rattle can overall on the front rear bumpers. And we have a little bit of oxidation on the grill, headlight bezels, all the stuff out with a nice kit that we got from the guys at Sun Racing. Sweet. Take a break.
Yeah.
Pull the number up. Where are we going? Dumpster. Now we're going to be swapping out both headlights for a brand new set. Depending on what year, make, and model you're running, these things can get really expensive. Luckily for you guys at home that may be on more of a budget, there are some solutions. You can get yourself a headlight restoration kit like the one we got. It comes with pretty much all the pads you're going to need to get this job done. We're going to start off with 500 grit, work our way up to 800, then 3,000, and then a rubber pad is not compound. Now, ideally, you want to use a variable speed drill so that you can control it a little bit, and you don't want to dig it. Kind of shaving off that top layer of oxidation. You can feel it kind of get nice and soft. Well, it looks like it's still got some shiny spots, and we're going to keep going a little farther. Alright, looks like we got most of our nasty yellowness off here, so we're going to go ahead and step back to 800. Now, the 800 grit isn't necessarily removing any of the oxidation anymore. It's just trying to sand out all the 500 grit strands. Since the 800 isn't quite as abrasive, you can go a little bit faster on your drill. Alright, our last step is to add the compound. You do not need a whole lot of this. Just enough to give it a little bit of abrasion, but also allow that pad to dry across the head. As you're doing this, the compound is going to give the headlight a little bit of a haziness. It's going to keep going until all that haziness is gone. So, we're just about there. You know what? I think I'm going to call that good. Let's go ahead and do this tape off from side to side. Yep, I like that a whole lot better. One last. Forward, something to do with this one.
Anything is possible. I don't know how this is gonna play out.
Couples will do the work, end up successful. You're disrespectful, everything.
Love freaks me out, but I
We're getting ahead of it. We're actually going to make sure everything's drained before we try and pull the transmission.
Over 5 seconds into work, and I already made a mess.
Well, it looks like the inside of this transmission might be a little bit of a mess.